We're asking, of course, because former French President Nicolas Sarkozy turned himself over to police in Paris yesterday to begin his 5-year prison sentence after being found guilty of criminal conspiracy over the alleged illegal financing of his 2007 presidential election campaign. His wife of 17 years, the Italian supermodel Carla Bruni, was by his side and was crying as the car door shut behind him. Could you face years without your husband's embrace, or indeed your wife's? Or do you think all's fair in love and war? When one of you's in prison, it's for better, for worse, and you stick with your partner, even if, of course, the jury or the judge thinks he's guilty as hell, and that's why he's inside or she's inside. We'll start with you on this, Narinder. I mean, how many years have you been married
30
now?
years. Actually,
30
we celebrated it just on Monday.
Congratulations.
Thank you very
I've
much.
met your husband. What a charming man.
But I would quite welcome him being away for 5
Stop
years.
it! Stop it! That's not fair. He's really delightful.
I would. I'd be so free. I'd be free.
You're a naughty girl.
Yeah,
I'd
be free.
You're a very naughty girl.
In answering the question, I don't think you should stand by someone. No, not at all. Love can't conquer accountability and justice. This is justice. This is the law. And if my husband was found out to have done something really serious, this is a serious crime, I would be embarrassed and ashamed. Yes, I might be sad. Well, I wouldn't be. But I'd be so, for my children's sake, that your dad was part of a financial fraud or something more serious. No, I'm sorry, we're finished. 30 years of marriage.
Get the camera on my face before my head falls off.
Why are you shocked?
Because till death do us part.
Yes.
Because
No,
I
not
love
if
you
he's
when you're
been
right and wrong. I love you anyway. I love you. That's
I might
what
love
is.
you, but you need to go to prison because you did wrong. And justice matters.
But it's not about not going to prison. It's about whether or not you would stay married to your husband.
No, because I think
or
what
get
message is that given to the world? That
you think Carla Bruni should divorce
Yes,
Nicolas
because
Sarkozy.
therefore, if I stood by my husband, that means I'm endorsing criminality. And I'm not going to be endorsing criminality. And nor will my children.
Well, what about forgiving? It's not endorsing.
Forgiving, but stand buying and crying and putting your hands out and all that means you're endorsing some kind of criminality.
Wow.
You're okay with criminality. I'm not okay with that.
Well, I thought the whole point about love... I mean, romantic love.
Love conquers all in my head.
And marital love is supposed to be that you love through thick and thin, through sickness and in health, for richer, for poorer, and for worse. And this is definitely worse. But you're not meant to go when things go terribly wrong for you.
Like this, no.
Yes, you should.
See ya.
Yes, you should be doing that.
I think it depends
I
on
think
the
so.
crime.
Of course, the
It
severity
does
of the
depend.
crime.
I said serious. I said serious crime.
I don't think Carla and Nicolas should get divorced because of this fraud allegation.
Well, he's not an allegation. He's been found guilty of it. He's
being guilty of it, excuse me, using the wrong word. I don't think that should be the end of a marriage. If he'd raped someone, if he'd killed someone, maybe if he'd really physically harmed someone, I could see that being grounds.
But this is financial fraud.
Why don't we go straight to Sarah in Norfolk, see what she has to say. Sarah, hello, thanks for calling. What do you think about this one?
I've got a friend whose partner is in prison. And he talks to me every day. He's been in for a very, very long time. Well, he will be in for a very long time. I don't ask what he's done, but I have a vague idea. And she's adamant she wants divorce when he comes out. She wants
to be there when he comes out, did you say?
No, she wants a divorce.
Oh, she wants a divorce when he comes out.
Yes.
OK, well, can she not get one while he's still in there if it's going on for years? Does she have to wait for him to come out?
She could, but she's going to wait for him to come out first.
What's he in prison for? I mean, is it a very serious crime?
Yes, it is, which I'm not going to say.
Yeah, that's fine.
OK, so what's your take on that? Do you think she's absolutely right? If you were her, would you do the same thing?
I mean, I know what he's done.
Yeah.
And I agree with her. I stand by her decision. She talks to me about it every day.
Yeah.
It upsets her. She has gone to see him. And as she puts it in a very polite way, I don't want to see you. She has to see him behind the screen. She cannot face him because of what he's done.
Gosh.
And that is, I stand by her decision. And I said to her, forgive him. She will not forgive him.
I mean, I suppose that the crux of this is it does depend on the crime. Of
course, yes. 100%.
It really does, and I don't think anyone, no religion would expect you, however deeply your faith, you observe your faith, to stay with someone who'd done something absolutely dreadful, would they? I suppose, Sarah. So you're going to have to support your friend through all of this, which obviously you have a hell of an ordeal. Let's go to Carl in Nottinghamshire, who has a particular and unique take on this because he did go to prison, I think. Hi, Carl. Thanks for ringing.
Hi, Vanessa. No problem. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. What happened? What did you do?
Yeah, so I was in a long-term relationship, and this was over about 10 years back. I got a prison sentence for a driving offence.
Right.
So it was a 3-month sentence, and I did a month inside. But it wasn't something that we would have split up over. It obviously wasn't a violent crime or anything of that nature. So I don't think if you love somebody and if you're with somebody, then you stick with them through thick and thin, unless it was obviously the same as your panel said earlier on, a rape or murder or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I think going to prison for any other nature, then if you're married or in a long-term relationship, then you stick with your partner and you wait for them to come out and celebrate them coming out, sort of thing.
Tell me something,
Carl.
Can I ask you something about this? Which is, was your partner angry with you? Did your partner say, you've brought this on yourself, you've brought this on us, you've covered us in shame, I now have to go through this horrible period of you going away?
There was anger there, but I think the majority of it was sadness that you aren't with your partner, sort of thing.
And did you tell me what you felt? I mean, people have been describing what Nicolas Sarkozy's first night in prison might be like. And, he's in solitary for his own protection. And
wow.
It was awful, really. It was awful. I think I felt more for my partner being on the outside rather than myself on the inside.
What was it like on the inside, though?
It was strange. I think it took. I mean, I was only there a month. It took a good week to adjust. Quite frightening at first, but it's a mistake. I wouldn't have liked to have been there longer than a month, and it was a very short stay. But my partner came to visit, and we was fine, and we was fine when I got out. So nothing changed really.
Were you in the sort of prison where you spend a great deal of time locked in the cell and hardly any time exercising? Or
so during Monday to Friday, you was in your cell majority of the time, and you came out for an hour in the evening and at lunch, and that was it.
Yeah. And were you in the cell with one other prisoner?
It was, yeah. So there was 2 of us in the cell, and then you sort of get visits three times a week, and my family and my partner would come to visit. But it didn't alter our relationship at all.
Did you feel? I mean, on that first night when the door or the door of the cell locked behind you, and you're just stuck there with another criminal, and you don't know what they've done, and you don't know them, and you're not going to come out for 22 hours. How did it feel? Did you feel panic? What did you feel?
Yeah, totally terrified at first. Really bizarre. It's your sort of freedom being taken away. So quite terrified.
And Carl, when people talk about prison, as they often do, as a holiday camp, they've got TVs, they've got access to smartphones and this, that, and the other. What would you say to people who describe it that way?
It definitely wasn't a holiday camp. I mean, people are sort of inmates in there that have done serious crimes. You don't sort of get PlayStation 5s and things like that I think people like to think that you do. But it was quite obviously a serious place and quite terrifying.
Carl, at the end of the day, you were convicted, you were found guilty, or you pleaded guilty, and I think that's a lot for your wife, and I don't know if you've got children. I think that's a big ask. I know you were only in there a month, but you're still a convicted criminal. And I think, did your wife not feel shame, or did you feel embarrassed or anything?
It was embarrassing, but I think if you've been with somebody, same as you've been with your partner for 30 years, did you say? Sort of.
Yes.
I think you stick with them, whether it's sort of all good or all bad. It is what it is. But people different opinion, I suppose.
Yeah, and also people can make mistakes, and people do make mistakes. And if it's your partner, your life partner that you love, provided it's not a crime of such heinous dimensions that you couldn't even dream of going anywhere near them ever again, I can see why you'd find it in your heart to forgive and to move on and to say we'll do our very best to rebuild and not do that again.
Shows how much he loves her, though. She loved him, that she was going to see him 3 times a week. You don't have to do that.
No.
And it shows that. And actually that maybe even brings their bond closer together when he comes out.
Yeah, let's go to Maria in Portsmouth. Maria, what do you think?
I'm going to be very honest with all of you. If somebody is able to commit a crime and let alone not tell their partner about it, and then they all of a sudden find out about it, and they stay with that person, then they're the dumbest people going.
Yes.
Do you really think so?
I'm sorry, I do, Vanessa. If they are capable of lying like that, and we're talking about a crime,
Yes.
not just going down the road and whatever, a crime.
Yeah.
going to prison, but they would lie to them. What else would they lie about, Vanessa?
But you don't feel as if, you know, people do the most peculiar things and they don't even know why they're doing it. And as they're doing it, they wish they weren't doing it. They feel terribly sorry. They can never quite work out why they did the thing. I don't know. I'm trying to kind of see that people are so flawed, talking about myself as well as everybody else. I don't just mean I'm not judging anyone, but, you know, we all do things. We just think, oh, God, why did I do that? What happened? And then sometimes people say, you know, my misspent youth, you know, I was young, I didn't know what I was doing. People do all kinds of things they feel terribly ashamed about, but should you never speak to them again, Maria, if they do?
What I'm saying is there are things when people do things wrong, and then there's crimes and going to prison, Vanessa.
Right.
You don't go to prison for doing something daft or stupid.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to prison, it's because you've committed a criminal offence of a high level.
Yep.
And that is what you need to remember on that.
I agree with Maria, and I think she's talking about that level of deceit. There's layers of deceit here, and this is your partner, and you didn't know that they'd done something criminal and they didn't tell you, they're doing something behind your back. It's deceit.
And
that's not love,
But
Nick.
what if, Nick, they said I was doing it for you and the children, or I was trying to protect you, or I was being threatened, or, you know, I'm the kind of child from a terribly deprived background. I was, you know, recruited to a gang when I was 11. I didn't realise it was wrong. I mean, there are lots of things that people can
so
do
many
and
different
say.
circumstances, and you can't just say that one size fits all, because it doesn't in that respect. And also, you know, somebody who committed that crime may have a lot of shame and know that they've done it, and they're holding that with them. They don't want to share it with their partner because they've become complicit in it if they do so.
Also, what is prison for? Why do we send people to prison? Yes, it's to punish them, but it's also for retribution, for rehabilitation. And are you really saying that you've got to divorce someone that's going through that rehabilitation process if they're one of these people that can be rehabilitated? They need something to come back out to stop
I
them
don't care. It's
reoffending.
not my problem. They can
But it is your
rehabilitate themselves.
problem.
No,
It is
it's
your
not.
problem. If
And
your
then once they
husband
come
got
out and
locked
they've
up
changed,
for a driving offence, you would divorce him.
driving offence. No, that's a small.
Like our caller earlier on. Went to prison for a month.
No, that's different. I'm talking about a dreadful crime or financial fraud. Anything that's carrying a sentence of a year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. I'm sorry, that's unacceptable. That's not what I got into my marriage for. That's not what I expect from my partner. I expect integrity, and I don't expect a lawbreaker or criminality. That makes me complicit.
We see, remember Lord Archer, Geoffrey Archer, the novelist, former chairman of the Tory party, and his wife, the fragrant Lady Archer, who waited and stayed with him. They're still together. They seem very happy. You see them, you know, making appearances at things together, hand in hand, you know. And it is possible, I suppose, to do it if you have that feeling
I think you
of...
need to be a martyr about this. I don't know why the partner needs to be a martyr. We don't need.
But maybe they're not being a martyr. They just actually love that person and want to stick
Undying
with
love.
them.
But love should not
True
come
love.
before justice. I'm sorry. You've got to have morals. Where's
That's
your morals?
your morals, but that
love shouldn't conquer all. Love can't conquer.
But a
law and
relationship, a
legal.
pairing of two people who know that after a year they're going to come back and actually be a family unit or whatever.
The
that's
shame they brought to the family.
Listen, they have to
is
all go through that
disgraceful.
together. That shame they have to go through.
Right,
I
but
think,
no,
together.
my kids and myself, we don't need to go through that shame because my husband
All
did
right,
something criminal.
we'll leave that there, but you can see this is a heck of a conversation. I think it really is. I'm fascinated by it, really. I'm fascinated by the passion that you're feeling, the depth of feeling I think I'm feeling, and I don't, you know, it's really something, this conversation.